Good morning, beautiful people. Today, with sadness, we know what happened to Tylee and JJ. And we've had demonstrated right in front of our eyes what evil really is. I'm trying to see if I can see you as usual. I'm not going to read the affidavit. I think everyone, or most everyone, has heard what has happened, that they found that Tylee had been dismembered and burnt. And I didn't watch or listen to much last night after my live. No views. Okay. 4 watching now. Great. So am I on live? Can you hear me? I have to always ask that because I never know. Can someone let me know if you can hear me? Can you hear me, guys? Let me see. I can hear you, DJ Norman. Great. Thank you. Many prayers and thoughts out to Tylee's family, Colby Ryan, Alex Cox, which is her cousin on the Cox side. Alex is the one that was living with them, with Charles, when they all lived together at the end. And he's the one that wrote the message online that Melanie Pulowski was part of this cult and that she knew where the children were and that everything that she says is a lie. So our thoughts and prayers to Kay Woodcock, to Larry Woodcock, to Tylee's auntie, Annie Cushing, and to all the other families that can really feel the wrongness in all of this. I'm not sure what other things were said last night after we found out. You know that I was online when we found out that Tylee had been dismembered and burned. So I really have no idea about others' thoughts, but this is my thoughts. It had nothing to do with the cult. Like, it wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't a cult practice. And this is only my opinion. It wasn't a cult practice to cut Tylee up and burn her. That had nothing to do with them being a cult. We definitely have defined them as being a cult. There's no question that they're a cult, but I hope and pray that people don't get too sidetracked when it's really cult behavior, or if it's really simple trying to cover up behavior, cover up a crime. And in this case, it definitely is them trying to cover up a crime. It has been stated by neighbors that they had unusual bonfires in the last 9 months since Tylee disappeared and JJ. that has been reported more than once, and that they got very suspicious, even more suspicious this spring when they were having very tall, heavy bonfires. This is, again, just my opinion, and I really hate talking about it, but I have to say what my opinion is it was not a cultish practice. It was because they needed to cut Tylee up so that they had small enough pieces to one by one in all these different bonfires to incinerate her. They, of course, couldn't take a body, an entire body, and burn her outside. So what they did is methodically kept making these different bonfires and adding her pots in here and there. That's my idea. I'm going to read you an article about cults, which is off topic of what I was just saying. It was not cult behavior. They were trying to save their bottoms by getting rid of. And I think that if they had finished burning Tylee, that they would have continued on to do JJ. I just think that they didn't have the opportune moments to do their plan. See, I believe Melanie Pulowski to some degree. She says her aunt always has a plan. And I think she's right. They're just not safety plans. Okay. I'm just going to read what you say, and then I'm going to read an article. DJ Norman says Tylee was a dark spirit. Maybe the spirit that was trapped in her had to go through a burning ritual. This whole mess stinks of David Bednar programming and behavior modification room of the IDS temples. I don't know anything about that, DJ, but thank you for sharing that. I shut down my Facebook report under other name, had contact with FBI and Homeland Security within past few weeks. Thousands of murders over the past few decades, buried under brick, under pets, well planned. Oh. Okay. So here's an article. It is called Watch Out for Telltale Signs by Rick Ross. A typical cult has charismatic, unaccountable leader, persuades by coercion and exploits its members economically, sexually, in some other way. The question, what makes a cult? Some say that the word cult or sect is a label used to discriminate against new religious movements. However, it seems disingenuous to ignore the historical significance in modern day applications of the word cult or sect. Today, many controversial groups that have been called cults or sects are seeking to either eliminate that description or ignore it. Some academics with close ties to such groups have become little more than apologists, labeling the word cult a four-letter word. These apologists often prefer the supposedly political correct title, New Religious Movement, NRM. But historically, cults have always been with us, and they continue to be a part of the world today. The word cult can be broadly defined as formal religious veneration, a system of religious beliefs and its bodies of adherents, a religion regarded as unorthodox, great devotion to a person or idea, as well as persons united by devotion or allegiance to an artistic or an intellectual movement or figure. These general definitions could potentially include everything from the Barbie doll collectors to the so-called Trekkies and die-hard Elvis fans. American history is particularly rife with religious groups that can be seen as cults, such as the devoted followers of Mary Baker Eddy, the founder of Christian Science, or the Mormons, united through their devotion to Joseph Smith. Both of these religious groups were at one time also regarded by many as unorthodox. But the most salient concern to the general public and law enforcement and government officials today regarding groups called cults is what potential they might represent to do harm. Psychiatrist Robert J. Lifton, who once taught at Harvard Medical School, wrote a paper titled Cult Formation in the early 1980s. He delineated three primary characteristics, which are most common features shared by destructive cults. A charismatic leader who increasingly becomes an object of worship as the general principles that may have originally sustained the group lose power. That is a living leader who has no meaningful accountability and becomes the single most defining element of the group and its source of power and authority. So I'll just interject there. It says that there's some features shared by destructive cults. They're not talking about all cults. They're talking about destructive cults. And it says, a charismatic leader who increasingly becomes an object of worship as the general principles that may have originally sustained the group lose power. So the LDS principles lost their power in Chad's group. That is a living leader who has no meaningful accountability and becomes the single most defining element of the group and its source of power and authority. So, of course, Chad had no accountability. He could make up the rules on a whim. At any given time, he could change the rules. In any given time, he could enforce the new rules or the old rules. 2, a process of indoctrination or education is in use that can be seen as coercive persuasion or thought reform, commonly called brainwashing. The culmination of this process can be seen by members of the group often doing things that are not in their best interest, but consistently in the best interest of the group leader. We talked about this, that in Chad's best interest, it was for him to create rules that would get Lori and others attached to him. And by these rules, he could make his members do things that were not in their best interest. Number 3, economic, sexual, and other exploitation of group members by the leader and the ruler in the ruling courtier. The destructiveness of groups called cults varies by degree, from labor violations, child abuse, medical neglect. In some extreme and isolated situations, calls for violence or mass suicide. Some groups that were once seen as cults have historically evolved to become generally regarded as religions. Power devolved from a single leader to a broader church government, and such groups ceased to be seen as simply personality driven and defined by a single individual. For example, the Seventh-day Adventists, once led by Ellen White, or the Mormon Church, founded by Joseph Smith. Some groups may not fit the definition of cult, but may pose potential risks for participants. Here are 10 warning signs of potential unsafe group or leader. 10 warning signs of a potentially unsafe group or unsafe leader. Absolute authoritarianism without meaningful accountability. So, yeah, that makes sense. He can change the rules, he can make up new laws of his land and at a whim, like I said, and he doesn't have to be accountable for why he changed them. No one questions him. No tolerance, the next one. No tolerance for questions or critical inquiry. We talked about this last night. We talked about that Melanie Pawlowski has no critical thinking skills and she doesn't question. No meaningful financial disclosure regarding budget or expenses such as independently audited financial statement. So they're saying he could hide his income. There is no legitimate reason to leave. Former followers are always wrong in leaving, negative, or even evil. That's the feedback loop. The people get scared because there's that feedback loop. They try to leave and they get told that they're wrong and evil. So they keep coming back to negate that. Former members often relate the same stories of abuse and reflect a similar pattern of grievances. There are records, books, new articles, or broadcast reports that document the abuses of the group leader. Followers feel they can never be good enough. There's that feedback loop again. The group leader is always right. The group leader is the exclusive means of knowing truth or receiving validation. No other process of discovery is really acceptable or credible. America, now this is like a different section, and it's titled America Faces an Epic Choice. In the coming year, and the results will define a country for a generation. These are perilous times. Over the last 3 years, much of what the Guardian holds dear has been threatened. Democracy, civility, and truth. Oh my God, they put that word in for Melanie Pawlowski. And I'm going to tell you what year this article was, if I can see it. Oh, so it was 2009. So that they're talking about that. So I'm gonna skip on to that because the only thing that I read is there is an educational society that is put together to educate, obviously, people about cults. So you can go online. I don't have the official name of it, but it is a society to learn more about cults and make sort of an artifact place, for a lack of a better term, that they can put all of the information, past and present, into this society and teach people about cults, so that if they come across them, they might be able to see them. But as we've discussed before, guys, it's so subtle. It's so subtle that I don't think that people would recognize that it's not overt at first. I have heard many times that Chad Daybell walked around town, the Rexburg greater area, as a well-respected man. I have heard that if you're a Mormon in that area, because it's highly LDS saturated, that you get a higher respect. And especially if you're a man, you get this undue respect that others wouldn't get normally. So, I'm going to see if I can read anything. Yes, I left it in her comments under my name, and one of the kids' visuals saying "Somewhere Over the Rainbow" 2 times by 2 singers. Yeah, I'm going to look at that, Cassie. Thank you very much. Okay, DJ Norman says, I don't think they burned to get rid of semen or DNA. Why? They killed and they have bones, but maybe. And was she killed off site, chopped up, and brought to Chad's for burial? Yeah, I'm not sure. I just think it was basically body parts economics. They needed to keep the body small. I mean, how would they be burning a large body? I mean, if I remember right, she could have, I can't remember if I heard what her weight was, but as you all saw in that very last picture at Yellowstone Park, that she had gained more weight from earlier that year. So that September 8th picture that we all have seen, she was much heavier than she was like in January, February, in the spring of 2019. So I think it was, again, I just think it was economics here playing. They needed smaller bits. And it's gruesome for me to say this, and it's also gruesome for me to be mulling over this to understand it, but that's the only reason I think they could have done such a heinous thing. How they chopped her up, who knows? Did they use an electric saw? Who knows? Did they use some type of knife? We'll definitely find that out. They'll be able, I hope, to find out at least that, to share how much more egregious it was. Either way, to me, again, and I'm not saying it's fact, I'm only putting my opinion out there, that they needed to make small parts to burn, and they didn't want to burn her all at once. So little by little, they'd take her parts and try to burn them, make it easy. And that's why they had such tall, hardy bonfires. That's my opinion. They had never seen bonfires so strong, the neighbors said. You know, they were high and mighty. Well, that's my opinion, that they were making them. What I want to know, of course, and I know it's all your ideas too, is who was there at the bonfires? Who frequented the bonfires? Because we know there was more than one. And we know there was You know, just to take a guess from rumors of what we've heard is I'd say 6, and that's just an opinion and a guess. Since when they're not a special cult connected to any mainline religion to make the members feel that they were more special than the others. Since when, I'm trying to understand this, since when was there not a special cult connected to any mainline religion to make its members feel that they were more special than others? Are you saying that happens all the time, Sparky? Yes or no? Is that what you're saying, that they always use that kind of you're a special member to keep the member connected and wanting to be with the group at any stage of the group? So again, it's with heavy hearts to find out what that word egregious really meant for Tylee. And you know what? Egregious is a legal, they use that all the time in the legal world. It's really it's the word to define horrible. But you know what? It's too nice for them, because when you use a legal term, it has a ring of, I don't know, just that they deserve a higher word. They don't deserve a higher word. They deserve that they're glaringly terrible, dreadful people, that they're gross, abhorrent, that they've done unspeakable things, unpardonable, all the words that you can think of. Yeah, the egregious is too nice of a legal word. We got to think of some words that will really spell them out in one or a few words. Mary Kimberly, they are despicable, evil people. Even if Lori didn't kill the kids herself, she knew they were going to be murdered and did nothing to protect her children. Good point, Mary Kennerly, because wasn't it her grand, beautiful sister called Summer Shitlet that told the world that she would never harm her children, and she could never be talked into harming her children. Very good point. If JJ was talking about Satan, I'm sure he was just repeating what he heard from those around him. Of course, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. They learn those words, and if they're buzzwords in the family, they pick up those buzzwords. Lisa, she says, I'm sure she and JJ were stress eating and self-medicating with food as a result of the damage their mother did. Can you imagine the talk that mother had in front of those children, Leisha? I can't believe it. You bring up such a dreadful way of teaching the children about the world, even if it's not the real world, even if it's half evil and half crazy. Yes, can you imagine? And I've told you before, I'm outside because I usually have kids here. And I'm outside and nobody can hear me. I'm speaking into a microphone type thing, because I think this is too gruesome for a child of any age. But that mother talked about dying and about driving off from cliffs and demons possessing people and worms and, all all the things that she talked about in front of the children. That if I had Lori in my house, if she was my neighbor or something and she came over with a plate of cookies, I would have thrown her out in half a second if she started talking anything like that. So long live Melanie Gibb for being able to tolerate all that foolish, evil talk. I mean, I'm being sarcastic, but Melanie Gibb, I know she was brainwashed, as they said in this article that I just read to you. She acts brainwashed. She can't critically think, and more so, they can't critically think, but they can't defensively think. Okay, so you can have people that aren't good critical thinkers. Like I know a lot of people who have very low intelligence, like 85 or 90 on the IQ scale, but they can be defensively thinking. So one doesn't equal the other. These people did not defensively think. They didn't run. They didn't walk away. And I'm not talking about the children. That's a whole different, I mean, the adults like Melanie Gibb should have ran. And if there was a telephone booth like we used to have, she should have stopped at the first telephone booth if she didn't have a phone with her. 911 should have been, in her fingertips. Okay, let me read. Because she would have probably poisoned. Yes, I know. I thought that when she invited Chad's kids over. But did they say she was a normal mom? Yes, but it's a pretend normal mom. Psychopath, people with the propensity to be evil like that have to be psychopathic, sociopathic. And they mimic. They don't know how to act. So what they do is they actually like go online or maybe take a class or two about what good parenting is and what a good mother is. And then they come out of that class or that situation and they use those tools, but they're not coming from their heart. They're coming from what they've learned. We're not saying psychopaths and sociopaths and destructive people don't have intelligence. They do have intelligence, and they use it to mimic. They don't know how to cry typically. So if they see other people crying, then they start crying because they mimic. So that's exactly, yes, Kimberly. I don't know what you said absolutely to, but I'm saying yes to you no matter what you said, because everyone's right on this feed, because we're dealing with an undeniable evil. So I could never dismember an animal, much less a human, much less a child, much less my child, and then burn them. I know you guys can't see, but there's a giant mango tree. There's a giant mango tree, and it has these beautiful giant mangoes on it right now. But what the squirrels do is they run down the limbs to the fruit of the tree and they eat them. So by the time that they drop or that you can get to them, they're all eaten by the squirrels. So someone suggested that someone come over with a BB gun and kill them. I said, no, let the squirrels eat. I mean, I know everyone has different feelings on that, but my point is I'm the same way. I can't BB gun down or have someone BB done to save my mangoes on the tree. Yes, Leisha. Yeah. I know about that. Yes, I was thinking the same thing. And I think a lady down the street here traps cats, actually, cats that are stray cats. So I think she's got like I'd say like 30 traps down there that would be good size for a squirrel. So you're right. I should go ask to borrow a few. And yes, I understand you got to bring them like some ungodly amount of miles away or they'll come right back. They know how to get right back to where they started from. We did that when I was growing up. Yeah. Okay. So let me get back. I'm going to try to go back. I understand turning to food as a friend as a child. I'm vain and evil. Lori probably body shamed. Of course she did. But that was the least of what she said to them to hear. Yeah. Make her eat the cookies in front of you. Melanie Gibb is just as guilty. She could have stopped them. Kimberly Kolb says, because she would have poisoned the cookies. Yeah. But didn't they say she was a normal mom? And then she says up to a certain point. And I got to figure out how to make this chat move. I love your accent. Yeah, people say that. When I moved to California, people were funny if they'd hear me talking. They'd all say, "Keep talking." Isn't that funny? And I think it's when I hear myself talking, I go, "Oh my word!" This is the honest truth. I can't stand how I sound. Yeah, you're right, Kimberly Kolb. A normal mom doesn't get married 5 times, and a normal mom doesn't murder off number 3 and number 4 so she can murder number 5. Because in my opinion, she did something to Joe. She did something. There's no question. He had moved to that same town so that he could be closer to Tylee. Yeah. So still having a hard time accepting how I know. And at first, Mary Kernley, at first when Melanie Gibb said that she still loved Chad and that Chad's a nice guy, I really felt that was antics and tactics that the FBI had given her, just like they do in special forces. They provide you with ways to make people feel at ease. And I really thought that was in one of the antics and tactics FBI books of how to get someone to trust you a little bit. I don't really believe she means that. I don't at this point. I think she would have 9 months ago, but not in these last interviews. But that's only my opinion. Hi, Mark Pateru. Hello, Gumshoe Graham from Punta Gorda. Now, where is that? Is that over by Punta Gorda? I think that's by Charlotte, right, Mark? I think that's my favorite town. They have like a town, a little town, all brick, all cobblestone area in Punta Gorda. If that's in Florida, if that's the Punta Gorda in Florida. Your voice inflection is real, authentic, comforting. We all hate how we sound record. Oh no, but I more than hate it. It's almost like a body dysmorphic problem because I don't care how fat I get. I can look in the mirror and see fat and I can see skinny. It doesn't bother me. But when I hear my voice, oh my golly. By Mount Dora, I believe, Carla says. Mount Dora, the golf, yes. Oh, yes, right by Charlotte, right, Mark? It's Charlotte would be over the canal, over the little bridge. Shannon Burgess White. Hello, all from Idaho. Oh, Shannon Burgess, widow. I said white, but it's widow. I got reflection of the sun on my screen, so I have to keep moving the screen to North Fort Myers, Sarasota, north of us. Yes, beautifully. I love I don't know how to say it, but Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte area. Yeah, I love it. Love it. I love Punta Gorda itself, though, more than Port Charlotte. I really love their little place. Like I said, they have that cobblestone area, and there's a bird sanctuary there, a place that you can walk around and see all the tropical birds. But it's a natural one. It's not one that, cages up birds or anything like that. Persons of interest, what kind get into their teens, they change a lot, and that's when they need extra understanding. I don't think Tylee's mother had that. Of course not. She jumped Tylee from an elementary school kid to an adult. There was no in between. She did exactly what Melanie Pulowski's mother did. They were parentifying the children. I have heard my recorded voice. I hate it. I always vow to stop talking altogether because my voice, see, I have that same, it must be like there's that disease. I forget what the name of it is, but you can't handle when people chew food, the sound of chewing. Well, that's the same. The sound of my voice drives my brain. Like, it doesn't bother me when I talk. It's only when I play it back. So you can bet your bottom dollar I don't play these videos back. Back in the mid-90s, I lived in Idaho Falls and worked occasionally in Rexburg. Now, are you LDS, Mark, or were you just there for other reasons? Because I know they have the school there, the college. I was born here in 56. You were born in Florida in 56? That's correct, just north of Fort Myers. Yeah, that's where I live now, Mark. Oh, so Shannon lives in Idaho. Yes. And Shannon, could you share a little? Hi, Betty Spaghetti. Yeah, I like the North Jersey accent. I had a lot of friends from and cousins from Chatham and Morristown area, and I like their accents. Persons of interest. My daughter was lovely until she turned 11. Then it was like she was sucked out of bed overnight and replaced by a demon. Yes, no. Yeah, some kids, their hormones really go crazy. So back to Miss Whittle up in Idaho. What is the climate like there? Shannon, however you pronounce your first name. What is the climate? What has changed in Rexburg, or what do you feel is different up there now since they have found out that indeed the kids aren't hid in a bunker somewhere and the kids aren't alive, obviously. And of course now with the new news of last night that it was extremely heinous acts involved. Yes, Betty Spaghetti. The case is getting more crazy and evil, but yeah, in January, I was trying to ignore it because I'm not a science fiction watcher. I know that there's a lot of people that enjoy it, but I'm more of the type that actually likes to pick up a book and read a documentary, or I more have the affinity for like real stuff that is tangible to me. But when I started hearing about the case, I didn't want to listen to it. I would change the I was listening to Scott Reich and, the attorney, his program, Crime Talk. And I always watch his program because I like to find out from a defense attorney, because obviously that's what he is. And I like to get his perspective on what angles the attorneys might take on for the clients, for the bad guys. It's warm now. I wonder if snow and all melted. They brought in the ground radar machine, possibly. The helicopters had been flying a lot, especially the last few weeks. I knew something was up. Ooh, I hadn't heard that. But I thought they had found out where the bodies were because Alex's GPS, from some FBI program, they got the markings from the GPS of where he went in the yard, what dates and times he was there, and how long he had stayed there for in Chad Daybell's yard. So maybe they were trying to see something in that time using the helicopters. Maybe they were taking some kind of pictures or something to see if they could see where the earth didn't look the same or something. Who knows? Although I'm working right now, I'm in Cape Coral. Oh yeah, a little bit. That's a busy city. I've been there. I went there once last year. That's a busy city. A lot of traffic and a lot of things going on. Because it sounds out there and crazy. Mary, yes, I am glad these years are long gone, but I feel so much for Tylee. Her best years will never happen. Now, our thoughts and prayers again to Colby. I say it all the time. I feel so bad for Zac Cox. You notice when they write the letters, the Cox family, that Zac and Adam and them are never included. That's because Zac and Adam don't want to be included. They have a different mindset than Barry and Janice and Summer, Ian and Melanie. I'm trying to read. They said it was an area about 4 by 6 feet, and the growth on the top was shorter than the rest of the land. Wow. I feel so sad for Colby, also Charles' other kids. Yes, the 2 boys. Yeah, I forget their names now. Poor kids had to lose their father and have his name disgraced, that they lost him because he was attacking someone. What a double evil trick these people do. Whatever they say is reverse. My zip code in Charlotte County has 6 cases of coronavirus, and the zip code here in Cape Coral has 150. Oh yeah. This is where JJ was not sure about. That was where JJ was not sure about where Tylee. Oh yeah, one was by a shed or a barn. And what about that raccoon story and how he texted all those messages to Tammy saying that there was a raccoon in the tree? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. People say, yeah, they don't come out in the day. I have had many encounters with raccoons in trees in the middle of the day with their babies. For some reason, when they have babies, I guess they need to be more protective and stuff. But anyways, I have seen them in the day, and they weren't rabid. And I've seen rabid ones too. Oh yeah, good one, Leisha. I guess raccoon is to Chad as sunflowers are to Chris Watts. So raccoon is to Chad, and the sunflowers were a telltale sign that the job was done to NK from Chris Watts, my opinion. That was not true with the raccoon. The markings are way bigger. Oh yes, we understand that he just made that up. I'm just Shannon. I'm just saying that I have seen raccoons out in the day, but they're right. They're nocturnal, but I have seen them up in trees in the day. Yeah, though that was only a reason if Tammy came across area of the yard, if for any reason she went out there and saw that dirt was soft and different, then she wouldn't question it. She'd just go, "Oh, that's where he buried the raccoon." I live on another continent and feel so much sorrow. Yeah, person of interest. It doesn't. We're all together. No matter where you live, no one wants children harmed, and you'd lay down for your children and on a bed of coals so they could walk across you. I mean, I know that's said all the time, but you would do anything for children. Most people would never harm a child. And when we say things and we go, oh, in our minds we say, oh, geez, that wasn't nice. We make a point to apologize and say something. We can't live with ourselves when we say things that could have been hurtful. So no, most people are human. These people are not human. Psychopaths, sociopaths are not human. They're the ones that are gutted out. They're empty vessels. I think Tammy I bet so. I bet that Tammy found out. I think you're right. Yes. And that's why she was looking so forlorn that day before she got killed. They said she looked extremely different and forlorn. Hello, Matt Man Productions. Welcome. We protect and teach children, of course. I had 2 kids that have had cancer. I did everything and anything possible to get them healed. Oh, sorry about that. And I'm glad they're healed. I hope they're doing well. Kelly Fitzgerald. Hi, Gigi. Saw you on Crime Talk last night. What do you think of the 2 short trips Alex made to Chad's? One was September 6th, 2 days before Tylee last seen. Do you think he was getting poisoned from Chad? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't have an idea. The only thing I know. So on September 6th, 2 days before Tylee was last seen. Yeah, probably. Saw you, yeah. One was September 6th. Yeah, probably. Yes, because they probably, like everyone has been saying, that malachite is very poisonous. Maybe they were doing some kind of potion. They're evil enough. I can see Lori stirring the pot. Yeah, I can see her with her wiry gray hair and her smile, her wicked smile, stirring the pot of poison. In my opinion, I think Melanie P. should be arrested. She was with Lori and Chad in Hawaii. Yes, Matt Man Productions. I also think that she didn't move up there, up to Rexburg, on Halloween night or day, just because she needed a new scene, that she was going through a divorce. No, she didn't. They all moved up there in a very short period of time. And I believe as soon as they had finished their jobs, they all moved out. The difference is Lori and Chad ran out because the police were on their tail. So they pushed Lori and Chad out faster than they normally would have left. But they would have left. There's no question that Lori likes the high life in Hawaii. Okay. To kill. Okay. Yes, they all got married at the same time. Yes. And the belief around that has been, and I don't know anything about it, so I'm just repeating what I've heard, is that you had more chances to be in the 144,000 group of people, and you would have been saved from when the destruction comes July 22 to the world. And I heard that you had to be a married couple to belong to the 144,000 group. So I'm not sure if that was the reason they were all running off and getting married in Las Vegas. Now, this is a question I have never had an answer. Yeah, Lori loves herself only. You're right. Where has anyone seen the marriage certificate of Chad and Lori? I believe they're married. I'm not questioning that. I just have never seen, because usually those are public records and you can walk right into a town hall or a city hall and ask for a copy. Those aren't something that's sealed or anything. Okay, I'm going to go backwards. What is scary is Emma, Chad's daughter, moved into Chad's house right away. I think they knew something in order to move her. Yes, I felt that it was she's going to do some work in the house while she's there. She's going to be using more bleach and more chemicals and whatnot to cover up whatever they might have done. Could they have cut Tylee up in the bathtub? That's a known place in a lot of murder. Yeah. Could they have cut? Who knows? Okay, Sheila Burgess. Alex dead the 2nd of December, which when written, 2012 is Nelson's first wife's death. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. I was thinking that also about his daughter. I think they cut her up at the cabin. Now, what is this cabin? Can you explain to me? I've heard about the cabin. Where is it and what is it about? Is it a vacation cabin? Is it a cabin that's used for fake religious get-togethers? That's the only thing that I can call them. Okay, in Yellowstone, I believe it's a rental. Oh, I think it also belongs to someone that hunts. Oh, interesting. Alex was at the Daybell residence for about 17 minutes on September 23rd. likely the 4x6 plot had already been prepared. Exactly, William. I thought the same, that they prepared it and then brought the bodies, or maybe the bodies were already hidden on site, but that's when they might have buried them. 9/23 was the day before Tylee's birthday. So I only had one bit of hope this whole time. Again, this is personal, only opinion. But I was hoping, since JJ went missing on September 23rd, that meant that Tylee was asking for him and that she wanted him to have her birthday celebration with her. So that's the only hope I ever had throughout this case. When people ask me, do you think they're still here? And I'd always say no, but I only have one question mark. Did Tylee want her brother for her birthday? And is that why JJ disappeared the day before? My biggest question, I've been trying to figure out, when they took his sister's life, what did they tell her brother? Wait a minute, am I lost? My biggest question is, I've been trying to figure out, when they took his sister's life, what did they tell her brother? Oh, Tammy's brother? Wait. Oh, JJ. You're talking, what? I bet they just told him the same thing. She's in college, if that's who you're talking about. Kelly says, according to the affidavit, they tracked Alex's truck from Yellowstone to a barbecue place, spent like 15 minutes there, and went straight home. I don't think he went to a cabin at all. They would have been GPS. Yeah, okay, JJ. Yeah. Yeah, I would assume, Shannon, again, that they just told him that, she's a big girl now and she's in college, like they told yeah. Kevin says the same. They were using, they couldn't have picked a better excuse. The only one they couldn't pick that excuse for was for Melanie Pulowski. Why wasn't she coming home for meals? Why wasn't she coming home to do her laundry? Why wasn't Tylee visiting? Why wasn't she coming home to see her brother? But her brother was gone then, too. I hope it becomes a federal case, death penalty, because Idaho juries don't have the best track record. I remember they exonerated a man named Dallas after he killed 2 game officers there. Wow. I don't remember that, but yes. Kimberly Kolb, Melanie P. New. Exactly, Kimberly. Julie Rowe is an interesting connection. I wonder if she is a witness. I think she might be a witness and a fruitcake at the same time. I mean, just what I've seen about it, because she always changes her stories. And I've seen that myself. That's not taking it from other people that have definitely commented about that. Okay, the earth was sodded where JJ buried and replaced back over grave intact, but it disturbs the plant roots, so it doesn't grow as tall undisturbed. I just wonder where Alex, Lori, Melanie had got all this money to go to Hawaii and move to all these places. Well, yeah, I don't know. I know that Lori herself got $6,000. I don't know what Brandon was giving Melanie. You can be assured that the courts awarded the witch of the century, Melanie Pulowski, some money. That's how they do. She just goes in there and puts on a nice, country apron-like dress and just sits there with that dull face, and they'll throw some money at her. The courts are like that. Yeah. Women in the court system typically get what they want. Kelly, that's why I hope that, okay, let me see. Guys, Kelly, that's why I hope the feds take it over. And what would happen, Mark, if the feds take it over? What's the best that comes out of that? Yeah, they're all black-hearted women. They have no hearts. When they do their autopsy and remove their hearts when they're dead, to investigate why these people are weird, they're going to see that they're all crusty and black. There's no hearts in those women. You can get some, I think. You can get some boat action right now, I think. I don't know. Oh, it's a little late. Oh, they got the Trump. Did you see the Trump sign? The giant Trump sign on that boat. We're not going to talk politics here, though. Yes, Betty Spaghetti, I concur. Yes, they should have called CPS, and CPS should have gotten involved and taken the children away from the mother and put them in the only safe care that they could ever have. I don't think they're done with the arrest yet. I hope they charge both Melanies. To be honest with you, I don't mind anyone that gets arrested now. I'm not going to fight out that. I won't, in my mind, duke it out in my own mind why someone shouldn't be arrested, because they're all complicit, in my opinion, in some way. Even though Melanie Gibb has a nice personality and she looks like she's a good Sunday school teacher, she presents very well, it doesn't mean she wasn't complicit. And it doesn't mean that they know that she was complicit and that they're hiding it for her to be their prime witness. Federal is a lethal injection. Yeah, that's what I heard now, that they don't do the hanging anymore up in Idaho. At first, I had read that they do hanging, but it's lethal injection. Yes, without question, Lori's mother and sister knew everything that we're finding out and lied to the whole world. You could see it through their faces. And they liked it. You could also see that not only were they lying, they liked us as an audience, and they liked the idea that they had full control during those interviews to reverse everything that everyone else was saying. They enjoyed that. I just can't believe the cops treated Charles Vattel like a suspect and didn't take him serious. The police should be held accountable. Yeah, Matt, you know, when I saw his size yesterday, like I had never seen his body size relative to another person. But when he was with those 3 other cops, well, actually it was 4 cops. When he was in the parking lot of the hotel and with the 4 cops, I saw how enormous he was. His hands were gigantic. His height was tall. I mean, he looked fit and fierce. And that's what happens. They prejudged him, and all of their words, you could tell, were prejudice, because they were always saying, don't do this, don't do that. And when they ever said to him, don't ever keep JJ from his mother, that was a directive that no police should ever give a parent. They are not responsible for civil matters unless there's a court document that says they can intervene. Otherwise, they have no right to give out legal advice, especially when that legal advice puts children in harm's way. Because when Charles heard that, he heard the wrong information. And I said this last night. If any of you were not in the live last night, I said exactly this. If I was the policeman that day, I would have said, Charles, we don't have jurisdiction over civil matters. You've told me that you don't have a court order yet. There's no court order saying which parent has custody for what times. Therefore, because there's no court order, how the law of the land goes is whoever has possession of the child gets to keep that child. So I would have been saying the opposite of him. I would have been saying, don't go out to a store, because Lori can come up and grab JJ by the hand and take him. And you can't refute that. You can't call the police and say, oh, his mother just took him. So don't bring him into a public place where the mother can get access to him. If you have to go to work, you need to provide him with a nanny, and you're going to have to provide, maybe the nanny homeschools him or something. He cannot have the outside contact where Lori would have access to him. That's what I would have said. And I would have said, please check with your attorney. But when there is no court order, it doesn't matter what parent has the child. The police cannot enforce paperwork that doesn't exist. So they would not have come and knocked on Charles's door and said, Mr. Vallow, please hand over JJ. The mother wants him. They have no jurisdiction. So when that police officer told Charles not to deny the mother access, it was the biggest mistake in that particular communication with the police that Charles had that day. That was sent him in a totally different direction, sent him in a way where he couldn't protect his child. And then, of course, you know what happened after that. She did go to have an intake and evaluation, and that's when the intake worker at the Community Bridges facility let her go, just like she let a rabid dog out the door. As far as I'm concerned, Lori, Chad, Alex, Melanie Pulowski, et cetera, are rabid dogs, rabid people. And when Community Bridges made that the most egregious mistake of not taking her in for a 72 hold, at that point, they had created the future for Charles. And as all we know, that future was on July 11th. he became a murder victim. He was ambushed and in cold blood murdered. Okay, they should have kept Lori at least the 72 hours hold for observations. I mean, what's the point otherwise? Well, people have argued two different ways. People have argued that what Charles had written in those committal papers were so fantastic, were so incredulous, that the intake worker let the rabid dog out the door because the intake worker could not believe Charles, because the statements were so incredulous. Well, I beg to differ. If he said she was throwing pots and pans around, if he had said that she was making the kids sit in the front yard naked, things like that, they would have taken Lori in. But what Lori was saying was deadly things. I don't care how bizarre. Mental health officials know that people have bizarre, psychotic episodes. And I've said this before. It doesn't matter where those bizarre, psychotic episodes come from. Do they come from a sick, cultish, religious practice? Or do they come from her own mental instability? It really does not matter where her psychosis, her delusions stem from. She presented on the committal papers as fully psychotic, fully delusional. And that's where that intake worker made the grave mistake of letting her loose. Because from that day on, her campaign, her plan, as Melanie Pulowski always says, took it heavily got into let's put it this way. It got affirmed. Her plan of destruction, her black-hearted plans took hold. And they kept going and going until we see what we have seen until today. We do not know the complete stories. We do not know exactly what has happened. But it is my opinion that that cop that afternoon made one mistake by telling him not to give access to the mother. The second mistake, and it's a legal mistake. It isn't just, I made a mistake in my job. He gave legal advice that's civil, that was contrary to what the civil law in our country has set forth to protect parents. Two, that intake worker did the same. I don't know if it was a woman or a man. I did do a video. I started these videos about 2.5 weeks ago. And I think it was maybe my second or third video. I did a video on expressly that. What happened, that Lori got loose, that they let her loose from community bridges that day. And from then on, we are sitting here today discussing all of the destruction It's almost like having a hurricane and nobody tracking it. You know, oh, just let the hurricane come any which way. We won't track it. We'll just let it do its destruction wherever it lands. And then we deal with the aftermath. Chad and Lori killed their spouses for, yes, 100%, John Coos. I can't see your names. Again, I'm in Florida. The sun glare is terrible out here. And I can't go in because I have children in the house and I can't have even adults. I don't even like some adults. If you're not actually coming on to this YouTube forum to listen to this, then most people don't have the wherewithal to listen to this terrible stuff because it can make people very despondent. Yes, Shannon, so many lives could be saved. I wonder if Ian has gone dark yet. I think so, Diana Howell. I think he's extremely dark. He's gone into protection mode after protection mode, and she gives him that blank stare. She can't look at him warm. Most people would look at their husband warmly, like, thank you for saying that, like, thank you. Not Melanie Pulowski. She's as devoid as as anything could be. And we all heard the other night, I'm sorry about that for whoever was online the other night with me when I was reading that online document about how Melanie was raised by her very mentally ill, unstable, abusive, and neglectful, negligent mother. I mean, again, too many adjectives that say the word bad could be used in all of them. Too many. Oh, tomorrow's Father's Day. Is this what's going on? I don't know why all these people have flags. I don't know if you can see them, but there's boats that have pulled up and they all have the American flag, and some of them are wearing flag shorts and that kind of stuff. I don't know what's going on. I'm out of the loop of any festivities lately. I'm moving it, so if you can't see, I'll move it over this way maybe. So, okay. Betty Spaghetti, you may be right, Josie. That's why I don't believe that Lori was ever a good mother. I'm sure the cameras in the house thing was the case. Yeah. Oh, she was probably saying the biggest scary things. Now, that I haven't heard from Colby. I haven't heard Colby really talking. That's all he said is she struggled, but he never defined exactly what the struggles were and that they moved constantly. Yeah, I think they moved because she always was doing things wrong in the areas that she was in. I would like to know if she dated people in that area of the Texas and in Arizona areas where she had been living in Southern California, and if some of her boyfriends have disappeared. I mean, that's just thinking out loud. Yes, this is very sad. You may be right. Oh, I already read that. DJ Norman says, all the rituals kills I have seen involve slicing left jugular complex, and most of victims were passed out on drugs at the time. No raccoons were mentioned as dug up by FBI. Yeah, 100%. And I can't say that. I know what it is. Did you spell it right, or is it not phonetically spelled? Because I can't say words that they have, if they're words, they have to be phonetically spelt for me. I just skip over them because I can't say them. What about the first two husbands? What happened to them? Think we would have heard from them by now. I know, Missy Cat, I've always wondered about that. I've always wondered about why the two husbands, maybe they've been meeting with the FBI and the FBI has asked them to be on the down low. What about the first time two husbands? What happened to them? Oh, yeah, I just read that. See, again, the sun. I'm trying to block the sun. Happy Father's Day tomorrow for all the dads out there. And thank you for all the dads out there that do the right things for their children. A big thumbs up for you guys for many reasons, but especially when you hit the court system and they only listen to bad women. I'm not talking about good women. When the courts only listen to bad women, it's a travesty for all the children. Casey, you may be right. I believe she had 1 million beliefs why. Yes, good dads are the greatest. Not dads that would give up their kids because they get a stepmother in the picture, and the stepmother is like a Lori Daybell. Not that kind of mother, but the dads that even choose good women. Now, of course, as when you choose a psychopath, you don't know that's what you've chosen. Again, they only mimic what is, they always want to be painted as good. So they're the guys that open the doors for the old ladies. They'll pull out your chair at the restaurant. They'll do all the things that show that they're good guys. They go out of their way to do that. The Chris Watts of the world, someone had mentioned that earlier. And I think they said they're looking into Joe's life, and I hope so, Josie. I believe it was murder by Lori Vallow and Alex. And maybe Summer too. Summer has a part in all of this. She has, Melanie Pulowski has blank eyes, but they have, the Cox ladies have scheming eyes. They probably do not want to get involved in a police case. They have moved on with their lives and want nothing to do with it. Summer is Lori's sister who went on the 48 Hours program in other forums and announced that Lori could win a Mother of the Year award. Also announced that by any chance, if the kids have come in harm's way, it had nothing to do with Lori. It would be nothing to do with Lori, and nobody ever could convince Lori to do harm to her children. That's when they both gave that ludicrous kind of scream. They kind of went, ah, and they said, oh, no, that's not Lori. You know, they were trying to act like Lori. That really pathetic voice when Lori, I love it when Lori talks to the judges because you can see how subservient she tries to play, even though she isn't subservient. It's just playing. Cox is a family of grifters except Adam. Yep. I've been married to the same woman for 42 years. Next January, raised two boys ages 41 and 38 and still in love. Good for you, Mark. Shout outs to Mark and his wife. Very nice. Summer is Lori's sister. Yes. Did I say that? Did I not say that? Yeah. So Summer Shitlett is Lori's sister. And I think her husband divorced her in 2017. I think, or it could have been 2016, they divorced her. Oh, tomorrow's Father's Day. We're going to have a special program on tomorrow in honor of a very special man who died trying to protect children, Charles Vallow, on Father's Day. Okay, they probably do not. Okay. Yeah, I wonder what happened with Charles's sons. They've been very quiet. The only time I've seen Charles's wife is when she was hysterically crying after she found out about the deaths. So yeah, the two boys have been very quiet. The two Vallow boys, and the wife was just splendid. What a woman filled with feeling and empathy for her ex-husband. She was so aghast that Lori would have the audacity to text the son to tell him that his father had died. And then when he kept texting or calling her back, she wouldn't respond. And then she texted him back a day or two later, and I'm not sure if that was the time that no, I don't think she lied about it to them. But she did lie about the cause of death to other people, like the school that the children had been going to, or it must have been JJ's school in Arizona. She told the school that JJ's dad, Charles Vallow, had died of a heart attack. So whenever it was convenient, he died for a different reason. Oh, yeah, huh? Yeah, she probably sold those watches, Cassie. She probably sold those watches. Would it all be possible for forensic pathologists to glean way to test Alex's ashes? Ooh, I have no idea on that. I know those spectrophotometers that they use, whatever they are, I might have missed one of the syllables, but spectrophotometers, they send some type of light down through matter, and they can pick up different chemicals. So those machines have become very advanced lately. Hey, for all you Trump supporters in this chat, we got boats here with all kinds of Trump. There's what's going on today? I keep saying that. There's all kinds of boats with American flags and Trump signs, and I think they got a preliminary result back from Tammy's autopsy. I think they're holding it close to their chest because the defense attorneys can't ask for it yet because they haven't charged anyone with murder. All that information in the investigation part of it gets held close to their chest until they make formal charges. So right now, even though Mark Means tried to ask for everything, he didn't get his way. The judge turned him down. There are no formal charges of murder unless you guys know of something from last night till now. So because there's no formal charges of murder, then the attorney's office, the district attorney, the prosecutor, the attorney general's office and the FBI does not have to disclose anything until they've made that formal charge. It is clear to see that Alex Cox killed everyone. Oh, well, yeah. He was the mechanical end of the cult. As they called him before, when this first hit the news, the hitman of the Cox family. You're 100% right. You're 100% right. Politics of this conversation, please. Yeah. Bobby doll. Why is there, other than me saying there's pictures all over me with Trump supporters? Chad is mastermind and muscle. Alex was muscle only. Yes, you got it, DJ Norman. Exactly. He was mechanical. If I hear anything, I'll let you all know. We hear anything here about the case. I think Lori was aboard with Alex. Aboard. You mean side by side in their evilness? Yes. I don't even know if they. This is again. Excuse my gross thinking, but I don't even know if there was an incestual relationship with Alex and Lori. I saw an adult picture of her sitting on his lap, and he had his arms around her in a way that was too intimate for me as a grown adult. Unless they have proof of murder, I don't think law enforcement can charge them with murder. Yeah, but they'll hold back. Of course not. But they'll hold back on that too. They might have enough evidence to charge them today, Mary, but they're going to hold back until they have, a cesspool of information to back up the charge. I think they should check out me. They didn't ME. They didn't perform the autopsy on. Oh yeah, the medical examiner. Oh yeah, you're right, Mark. How did they get everyone to drop the ball? They say it's because Rexburg area is very much Mormon people or LDS people are elite people in that community, and especially if they're males. So they're saying that all of that stuff is a handshake because they just honor each other without question, and that they have that old school honor system. Chad woke up next to dead Tammy. I don't believe him. Chad is the one who had the poison, but where did he get it from? His girlfriend's brother. Probably. Alex died in Gilbert, Arizona. Seems that Alex wasn't at Chad's very long. Maybe they had a pre-dug grave. That's what I had said earlier. That's what I think had happened. Chatty boy and his shovel, got it ready, and Alex could just come and leave. Yep. It would be an awfully odd if Alex and Chad were out in the backyard at 4:00 in the morning, if Tammy or anyone else caught them out there. But it wasn't odd if they saw Chad out there throwing dirt on a hole, saying he had just covered up a dead raccoon or something like that. So I think you're right. I think Alex came, dropped off the body, and Chad did the covering up. That's an opinion. It's not a. Chad had excavator. No, I don't know if Chad did. He is a grave digger. It's so creepy now. Yes, 100%. It is very creepy. Very, very creepy. No murder charges as yet, Nate said on Twitter. Charles said Chad Daybell told him he could kill him with his powers. Yep. Yep. Charles also said that Lori could kill him with her powers, and that she was godly enough to do so. With all the land, you'd think he'd have some big tools. Yep. How do you keep a Mormon from drinking your beer on a fishing trip? Bring another Mormon. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I get it. Took me a second. John Kuhn had said, yeah, backing up on some of the things. John Kuhn had said, Yeah, Melanie Gibb went in hiding to keep safe. Yeah, they are dangerous. That's why Melanie Gibb went into hiding. Of course, she just didn't know how dangerous her her Richter scale was off. Like we would have been calling this like a 9.9 or something. I don't know how far the Richter scale goes up for earthquakes, but Melanie's Richter scale had lost its batteries because she was down. They were like a 2.3 to her. To us in the community, they were like an 8.5 or something. But I think she got the hint. And I think the FBI and the law enforcement helped her get that hint. So, guys, this is a sad day for everyone. Even here in Florida, where it's so bright and sunny, and I can peekaboo see the ocean right through there's a lagoon right at the end of the canal. And it gives me the message of being limitless, like the earth is without limits. But as I've said before, always make sure that if you ever get fearful, remember that faith is over fear, that you can never let fear stop you, because that's what happened to you. These people have been led by a nasty man, a man that has a black heart, and all of his members share that same black heart. So I think I'm going to get going because I've been on for quite a while. I don't know how long to be sure. But I'm getting a little, my throat is getting a little tired. Does anyone think one will turn on the other? I hope so. Oh, thank you, John Kuhn. If I'm saying Kuhn right, I should be, right? I keep thinking Zac Cox will say more. Maybe he and Valo's son staying quiet. Because yes, that's exactly what I thought. I think Zac, the two sons, Adam, they're all quiet. They're all quiet because they got some time bombs only expressly for the courts. Yes, Zac did get angry. He read an article written by, I always forget that guy, the reporter in Arizona. Oh, I always forget Lum, Lum, I believe. Zac read an article that Lum had done with Melanie Pulowski, and he got so mad. That's when he went on and he made that Twitter statement that don't believe her, she's a big fat liar, and that she is definitely in the cult. And he said it in such a way that, like, she is thick and thin in this cult, and she knows where the kids are. So he made all the points in one short sentence. Yes, I'm glad they're in jail too, and that's where they need to stay. They should never be out. And they're gonna get it in jail. I don't want to sound mean, but they're gonna get it in jail. People aren't gonna put up with child killers in jail, in prison and in jail, while they're waiting for their official sentence. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. You love the show. Am I a show? I'm a talker. Thanks for the entertainment. See you the next. Yeah, I think I'll come in on live tomorrow. As I said before, I want to honor Charles Vallow on Father's Day and send good cheer to all his kids and all his family members that miss him and love him. Hi, Debbie. Good morning, Grams and everyone. Life in a cabin over on the ocean on the coast of Oregon, and it's raining lightly. I've been listening and so thankful for this channel, Graham. Thank you, guys. Thank you guys very much. I mean, think about it. I could be talking to you or just sitting here talking to myself. And that's probably what all these people in the boats think that I'm doing. Because I probably can't see the line. I got the iPhone line into, I only have one ear that works. So I have the iPhone thing in my ear and one in the ear that works, and then I use the little speaker on the iPhone, so that's how you're hearing me, through that iPhone microphone. So they can't see it from that far away, so they might just think I'm talking to myself, which I've done before. And I gotta say, with the COVID-19 and wearing the mask, it helps me out at times, because no one in the grocery store sees me doing it like they used to. I want to jump in your pool. Love your channel. Thank you, Venus Rising. I really appreciate you all. Like and subscribe and share out the video where you can, if you'd like. And we'll be talking soon. And in the meantime, as I said before, there's a lot of ugly out here. Lots of ugly. So be safe and always keep faith over fear. Take care, guys. It's still there because I can't close it down. I think the sun has affected the button. I can't push it to close it out. That's interesting.